Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to episode 17 of the Omega Dudes. Tonight, find out what happens when 27 people who are not clowns go cruising in an expedition. When did Dr. Seuss become a racist? And find out what happened on SpaceX's SN10.
Hey dude, where is Parrish? Two. One. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for sticking through that awesome, well-produced, super high production value intro. If you haven't done so already, look down below this video window and to the right a little bit. You will see a subscribe button. Take your mouse, roll it right over there, or track it over or laser it over, whatever you're using, and just click on that button. I don't know what it does, but you should probably do it because it's there. And when else do you get a chance to click a red button out of nowhere and not know what it does? It could be a nuclear launch button for all you know. Just go ahead and click it. Find out. I dare you. You won't. No balls. No balls.
No huevos.
If you haven't done so already, share our videos. Only if you like them, though. If you hate us, you should probably share it anyways, just to pass it around the internet and say, hey, look, these guys have a terrible podcast. Look how bad it is. I dare you to watch it. Like and comment. Comment about how... It's a good thing to comment on this week, Chaz. What do you got? What's a good comment topic? How about how long it's going to take Senator Johnson and the rest of them to read out that 600 and what was it, 28 pages of
the COVID bill? What is it, HR 1319?
That's the one. Yeah. Well, how long do you guys think it's going to take to read read all of that?
That whole thing is messed up, man. I mean, like, the whole point he was trying to make was, guys, you keep passing all these bills, and we're not actually reading what's involved, and the American people have no idea what's involved. So he exercised his right to have the bill read in the Senate chambers. Well, half the place just left. They're not even listening because the senators don't have to read it. The aides down on the front do. So it's like, really?
You know that they are looking out for your best interests when they won't even read a bill that's going to expend $1.9 trillion of just borrowed money. Let's just add to the, national debt. Why not? Oh man, how's your week been, Chaz? Let's get off of that fun topic and on to a little bit more funner topic.
Oh yeah, kind of a roller coaster. It's no more potato stories, though I still enjoy that.
We'll figure out a way to slip that in, though. That's a good one.
Got to. But okay, I had my my truck towed to a shop. Now, for those of you who don't know, I ran my own shop for about a decade. So
yes,
it's like,
you did.
I kind of know what I'm talking about when I get into stuff.
As an aside, I was so disappointed when you moved away just because you weren't running that shop anymore, because you always hooked me up and fixed my car lickety-split. Because my car broke down a lot, and I appreciated that. It sucks not having you around here anymore, but please continue.
Yeah. So I'd gone through, I mean, the truck hasn't run properly in 4 months. Like right before Thanksgiving, it crapped out on me.
What kind of truck was it again?
It's an 01 Suburban. So, I mean, it's not like it's a brand new, it's a 20-year-old truck.
But I mean, it's
going to have some problems. But the thing's a tank. I mean, I've bred a small army. I need something big to cart everybody around.
Potatoes.
Yes. I have a sack of potatoes. But anyway, so I get this past Monday, but like the last week of February, that Monday, and I had it towed to the shop. It's the following Thursday, so they've had it 10, 12 days. I still haven't heard anything. from the
Wait,
shop.
what do you mean? They haven't told you
They
anything
haven't
about?
called me. They've told me nothing. I've called them a couple of times, not trying to be needy or whatever, but it's like, hey, you guys come up with anything? No, okay, let it go. Because it's not like I need it back right away. It's been down 4 months. They do.
Okay. What's wrong with it though? What didn't you say it was something with like that weird mode that they go into when something's
stuck in
wrong?
limp mode.
Limp mode, right?
Yeah, old GM cars like that, they've got that little message center on it, and it just pops up reduced engine power. Like you can literally stand on the accelerator, hold it to the floor. It won't go above like 1,200 RPMs.
Now, what's the actual like behind that? What's it doing to reduce the power? Is it just not letting you put as much fuel through it? Like no matter how hard you press the
it limits the
just like a limiter, basically.
Yeah. It's some type of safeguard. But my issue is I've gone through, because it's like I don't have all the equipment that I had back in the day, so it's just like I'm going through with just the stuff I've got in my garage. I've got a code reader, so I know what the codes are. So it kind of gives me a general idea of where to look, and then I go through and I test the right components and stuff. I've changed the items I thought it was, and what I thought was causing all the problems, and well, it didn't fix anything. So rather than just keep throwing money at it, I'd take it to a shop. These guys are clueless. I went by there today. After work, I swung by. I left a little early so I could get there before they closed. And I'm like, just looking for an update, man. What's going on? Man, you just need to get rid of that thing. Okay, well, that's not an option. So, like, it's done. It's we've looked at it. It's done.
What do they mean by done though? Like the car is just like you can't fix it.
Here's why mechanics have a bad name. That shit right there. Again, coming from the industry, be honest with the people. All right. Don't tell me my truck is done. It's broke. You can't fix it because whatever reason.
Well, that's so stupid.
Because I know it's bullshit.
Well, yeah, it's no car is ever just broke. You can't fix it. It's how much are you going to spend to make it work? Because you can replace what's broken.
Yeah.
It's not like the car has cancer or something where it's like, yeah, we tried everything, but it's not taking.
Yeah, no, you did. I mean, in all seriousness, dude, I'm this close to just going to a junkyard, snatching out another PCM, going and programming it to my truck, and then going up there and dropping it in myself to see what happens.
And you think that's what it is, right? Like because you probably already tried all the different sensors and everything.
Yeah, it's essentially because that's a major cost and a whole lot of but it's like I kind of want to do it just to see if it works. So I can rub
don't they have a what's it called? The thing that you hook a diagnostics thing where you hook it up to it to see if it's working or not?
That's not how those things work. Okay. Basically, it's a common. People think that you've got that big machine, you plug it, and it tells you what's wrong with it. No, my friend. That gives you a general idea of
codes. Right.
You have a fault in this system. Okay. Then you analyze the system and you see if you can see anything that's out of whack. That's what that'll give you. That'll give you like live real-time data. Okay, this sensor's operating in this range. This one's going in this range. Okay, this has this voltage. This has this voltage. Right here, we've got no voltage output out of this one. Okay, and then you get out and you go and you test it. You see if it's a wire. You see if it's a sensor. You find out what it is that's causing the problem, and you fix it. Unless you're this shop. I don't know.
Yeah, because you would think if it, through whatever codes it throws or whatever faults it's telling you it has, you should be able to check all that stuff and see, eventually you're going to find what is causing that system to have that fault. But whatever. I don't know. This just goes back to the whole thing about, it seems like more and more as time progresses, people just suck more at their jobs because they care less, because that's just, I guess, the way the world's going with all of this lack of accountability thing now. It's always passing the buck. Like nobody's proud about their work anymore. Doctors are a number one thing for me. Not all doctors. There's some good doctors out there still, but just like like when I went to Argentina, doctor, I had to go to an emergency clinic. The doctor there, you just tell by the way he talked and looked at me, like he cared, and he was going to
Which you
try
have
to
to go
help
to
me
the
out.
emergency room for in Argentina.
So when I first got down there, I have a broken tooth and it was giving me like some issues. Well, down there you can go to a pharmacy and the pharmacist can like give you, they can't prescribe any like pain medication because Argentina is one of those countries where they just don't give pain medication, which would have helped. That would have, taken care of whatever.
Wow.
But they were giving me non-steroidal, like the NSAIDs, like ibuprofen stuff,
Okay.
and large doses of it. And then I got on an airplane to fly further south to where my wife's parents actually live. And when I got to the airport, her brother, I guess they have like a nurse station at the airport too. And he had mentioned that I was having some issues. So she like has me drop my pants when I get off the plane and just sticks a syringe in my butt and just hits me with more NSAIDs. So later in the week, I started feeling really bad. And it got to the point where I was like puking nonstop. I couldn't keep down water. And all of a sudden, like within the course of an hour, my lower back started hurting really bad. I'm like, I think something's going wrong with my kidney. And I think what happened is they pumped me so full of that stuff that like my kidney, like so I had like toxic something or another. So I had to go in and they put me on like a bunch of fluids and stuff like that and did all kinds of scans and it sucked. But the doctors were really good. Like you could tell they really cared. Whereas here, lots of times they're just gonna be like, here, let me write you a prescription for this and I'll send you on your way and you're good.
That kidney stuff is no joke.
It hurts.
I mean, it's like I've had all kinds of medical problems the last couple of years, but like that last stint where I was in the hospital, it was like heart attack number 8 or heart attack number 9, whatever it was. But like it was because the pills that I was on were putting me in kidney failure, which was causing other levels to drop, which is making my heart screw up. It's like I can't pick my arms up, right? To like explain the weakness I was having, I couldn't hold my phone. It's like I couldn't pick it up to hold it and dial. You know what I mean?
Scary.
Yeah. So I managed to get myself to my doctor. It's like, look, dude, what's going on? He's like, okay, there's nothing I can do for you. Can you get across the street to the emergency room or do I need to call an ambulance? Like, no, man, I'll make it. So as they helped me back to my truck, I drove across the street, checked myself into the ER. Dude, I couldn't hold my head up. It was all I could do to get across the street.
Oh, that was from like the medication you were on just screwing you up. Yeah. The past few weeks, I've been going through my own thing. I've been having like, people have probably noticed on the show, I'm leaning over a lot off screen to like blow my nose because I've been having like sinus infection thing and I was on antibiotics for a while, but I only had so many of a certain kind. Oh, I got one of those kicking around right there. So I was on cephalexin, I think was the first one, and then I ran out of that. I didn't get prescribed this. I knew I had an upper respiratory infection. I'd had that antibiotics from something my wife went through similar, so I figured, hey, I'll probably do what it needed to do. Was feeling a little bit better after like 5 days, but I ran out of those and I wanted to finish a course. So I have a neighbor who's a nurse and she had a bunch of, I can't remember the name of it. Another kind of antibiotic. It starts with a D. I can't remember what it is. So I started taking that.
Probably for the best.
Yeah, well, I started taking it and within like a day, things were getting worse. Like it felt like I had glue in my sinuses. Like I could barely breathe in through my nose, couldn't breathe out, couldn't get anything out. I was, tried the, whatever the heck that stuff's called and tried like saline sprays, all kinds of stuff, just wasn't able, steam, everything, wasn't able to get anything out. Finally got some, what is it called? The, basically it's a corticosteroid spray you can get from the, I can't remember.
Flonase?
Yes, Flonase. That's it. Tried that. That was enough to at least get my airways open to where I could kind of breathe and start kind of working through it. But after a while, I was like, I wonder if it's this antibiotic that I switched to because all this started right around then. So I cut it out, and within like a day, things started getting better and getting better. So I think I might have been allergic to that antibiotic, come to find out. Yeah, like not in a bad way. I didn't have like any rashes or anything, but just the fact that it was doing that to me. But all that to say, I have a really gross story that I'm going to share. So I had the sinus infection thing all kind of, stuffed up, couldn't breathe, whatever, feeling like garbage. That started to go away, get better, but I started to feel like I had maybe an ear infection. And I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe because I'm so clogged up, oh geez, I'm completely drawing a blank on all these terms now, but the tube that goes down to your inner ear, it starts with like an E or something.
No,
Yeah,
I just call it my inner ear.
Yeah, Eustachian tube. That
Oh, okay.
it goes from like your sinuses down to like your inner ear, right? And that's how like if you get water inside there, you can feel it. You have to like tilt your head to like get it out and stuff like that. Um, I had like a pressure in the side of my head. I'm like, well, probably from all the sinus infection stuff, it probably got like clogged up or something. Maybe it's infected. So I was, using the Flonase, I was using saline spray, whatever. Nothing was really helping. But then yesterday, I sprayed some saline up in there and I let it sit and I blew my nose and a little bit of stuff came out, like a couple tiny little like booger things, right? And I was like, ooh, that's good. Let me try this again. So I spray a little bit more up there. Blow, 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 blow. Huge chunk of like stuff comes out. And I'm like, oh man, gross. I wonder if there's something else I can get out of there because it's like feeling better. Like I can feel like there's less pressure, right? So one more time, I blow, blow, blow. It sounds like I hawked a loogie out of my nose.
Oh.
But before that happened, I felt something kind of slide, like pull, and then like a sharp almost pain, and then it gave way. When I looked, it was this thin, stringy piece of like dried booger mucus stuff that I think was in my eustachian tube that was clogged up and got pulled out. So like the whole clog just came out because afterwards, whenever I breathed through my nose on that side, it felt like wind on the inside of my ear. Probably because it was so like stretched out from being so clogged up and now all of a sudden it's just clear. But it was awesome. Like all of the soreness and stuff like slowly went away over the next hour. I was like, man, I should have saved that or taken a picture or something, but I've never heard of that.
Insane.
Yeah, disgusting. Speaking of insane though, we were just talking about Lady Gaga last week and the dogs, and I wanted to talk to you about it before the show, but you told me to wait because you had some info. So what did you find out?
The first off, the dog walker, I didn't know he got shot 4 times.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, it's like I knew he got shot, whatever, but it's like I didn't realize that they like.
Well, because wasn't he like times. He was like fighting with them to keep the dogs, right? Like they didn't want to shoot him. Probably they used it as like intimidation, but then they're like, this is taking too much time. We got to get these dogs, and I think that's why.
Yeah,
but tough guy.
Yeah, he's up. He posted on social media. He's trying to stay out of the story and out of the limelight and stuff. But he's up. They got the tube out of him. He's doing well. Gaga got the contact information for the lady that found the dogs and returned them. And I guess she's getting ready to cut the lady a check for $500,000.
Wow.
That's pretty.
What I want to know is, where this lady was like connected. Like, how did she get the dogs? There's so much I want to know.
She found them tied to a pole.
Oh, so the people got scared probably when they found out whose dogs they were. Yeah,
that's probably exactly what happened.
Because if she's announcing that she's going to give away $500,000 to whoever returns the dogs, no questions asked, they're probably thinking, well, what is she doing like behind the scenes to try and find these dogs?
Yeah, because like here's me. Why aren't her dogs chipped?
Mine are. They probably were.
My dogs are chipped.
Absolutely. So when they cost that much, especially.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. It's like you are who you are. You've got these dogs that are precious to you and that are very expensive dogs.
Mm-hmm.
You'd think you'd have a tracker on them, some sort.
You'd think. I don't know. But so this lady found him tied to a pole. Yeah, I just really want to know. I want to know who took him. I want to find that because I have dogs. We all have dogs, and if somebody stole my dogs, I would be like that.
They got it on camera.
That I know, but I would be like Denzel Washington in that Man on Fire movie where he's just like killing everybody in his way to get to that little girl. It'd be like that until I got to my little dogs. You just don't take somebody's dogs.
No. That's just that's just low.
Yes.
You know, I mean, it's just like I can get robbing someone. You know, it's I don't agree with it. Obviously, I'm not saying, hey, you should do this. No, that's
not
what I'm saying.
excusing it.
It's
But
I can understand a person getting to the point where they feel that's what they need to do.
mm-hmm.
You know, it's most people, and I have to preface it with that because up until a few years ago, I genuinely believed that every person out there just believed that while you may have opposing views, they are genuinely trying to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I did meet an individual in that time that is just a bad person. Just straight up, there's nothing good. So those people do exist. I'm out of the, you know, I broke out of the shell. I took my blinders off. Those people do exist, but this is just insane. You shouldn't.
Yeah, that's
Sorry, that was a bit of a.
Yeah, that's like one step above kidnapping, which itself is just one step above like killing a kid. You know, it's just there's certain things that you just don't do, and that's one of them. You know, you can take somebody's not advocating that, but you know, if that's the type of person you are, you can take somebody's possessions, but that type of thing, that's like family. You just don't screw with somebody's family like that, my opinion. But speaking of things that you don't do, especially when you're a governor.
I mean, speaking of things you're not supposed to screw.
All this stuff about Cuomo, like it kind of cracks me up because he was taking himself so seriously during this pandemic. Like all of his press conferences, like he was set up. He looked like he was filming in the Oval Office. Like he was just sopping up all of that attention.
You also got to keep in mind, it's like every one of these women that come out, oh, he sexually harassed me. He harassed me. And then now they've got this big COVID probe because he was covering stuff up and the deaths and stuff like that. You got to keep in mind, this is the same guy that told all of these people, you cannot be with your family on Thanksgiving. Right? You can't be with your family on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
If we see you without a mask in your home, the police can come and ticket you. Really, dude? Really?
Yeah.
But he openly invited his mother over for Thanksgiving dinner.
Exactly. Openly did everything he demanded and not just demanded, but like it demanded enforcement, you know.
It's right up there with Nancy Pelosi and going to get her haircut when all these other businesses are closed, but she called her damn hairdresser so she could go get her haircut.
Yep. What's that saying? Rules for thee, not for me, or whatever.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of hypocrisy. And
nope.
So sorry, I got off. I took us off topic again, but with
that's fine. It always goes that. Yeah.
The sexual harassment thing. You know, there's 3 different women about it. One of which I straight up don't agree because they may have been unwanted advances at the woman, okay, but she never just straight up said no, you know, stop, blah blah blah. It was, hey, they're together, they're at a wedding. Really?
Yeah, that was the one, something about his hand like on her lower back or something like that, which
that's what they teach in like etiquette school and stuff. That's where your hand goes. Everyone sees your hand.
To the point
they know
where
you're not groping anybody.
You're getting to the point where, like, because this was at a wedding, right? Like, you walk into a wedding and, like for example, going back to my wife from Argentina and everything like that. That's one of the countries where every time you meet somebody, it's the whole kiss on the cheek thing. That's just how. Could you imagine that in America right now? Like somebody walking in and kissing somebody on the cheeks. And that's just
one of the complaints.
Yeah, well, there you go. There you go. And I'm not trying to defend the guy because I don't
that's something
like
else
him.
I do want to bring up. It's just like you've had me a couple episodes in the past, and this here, it's like I am not trying to stand up for these people. And,
no, absolutely not.
And say that it's okay to act this way or come down on women and treat them how you want. That's not what I'm getting at all. All I'm saying is one, this is America. You are innocent until proven guilty.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the accusations that are being thrown around and have been thrown around at a lot of these people are not really founded.
Yeah, well, that's kind of where we are with things now. It's like hair trigger. I don't know, and
Now,
that's why
I
it
do want to
might
say,
it might
sorry,
sound it might sound really quick like we come off defending people. It's not that. It's not defending anybody. It's defending someone's right to have their day in court if it goes that far, but like not be judged by the media. Like hold the judgment until all the facts come out. If the dude's guilty,
yeah.
then give him his punishment. I'm perfectly fine with
He
that.
even hired an outside source, so it wasn't affiliated with the government at all, to go and investigate it, whatever. Now, all of that being said, while the accusations from the other two women whom he did work for were
Worked for him, right?
yeah, they worked for him. They were kind of, I'm not going to go as far as to say they were sexual harassment, but he was technically their employer.
Right.
So I don't feel that was a good judgment call, but he is also a single man and works stupid long hours in a very tight knit environment. So I can kind of get where it would go to something like that. He may have thought things were mutual. I don't know. I wasn't there.
Yeah,
But
that's one of
at the
those
same
lines,
time,
though.
he's still an employee, an
Yeah,
employee,
and not
it
just an
shouldn't have happened.
employer, but also the position that he's in as
Yeah.
well. Like, is he? That's a position of trust or whatever they call it, like a public servant type thing. And yeah, I get
But
it.
he's also
There's
an Italian with a very abrasive, blunt personality.
just like what I was saying
So
with the whole kissing on the cheek for a greeting thing.
yeah,
Different country. Like, I would never dare. Just never dare here. I feel weird about it even going down there because you'll have women coming up to you and that's just how it is. But it's a different time. That's just all there is to it. You got to watch out everything. You can't hug people, and especially with all the COVID stuff. But it's
yeah.
so different. It's such a, and I don't know. I just
I'm
don't find
waiting
this
for the
stuff
first one of
offensive.
those. I'm just especially with all these states that are dropping all the mask mandates and all that. I'm waiting for
Mhm.
the first person that contracts COVID and then blames it on somebody for hugging them and then are suing for attempted murder.
Yeah, or
I'm
well,
waiting on something crazy like that.
especially like with what's going on out in Texas is one of the states that
Yeah,
dropped everything, right?
this did.
Like fully 100% open. And I
Yeah.
get that like
We are
hospitalizations
one
have
of the
dropped.
15 states that don't have a mask mandate, but it
Yeah.
doesn't take effect until March 10th here.
I I don't know. Like I do get it, and I guess as long as you're still being careful, I personally I would still wear one. Going in any public places, not for me, but just for other people, because who knows, And I would really hate to like have some little old lady die because I was carrying COVID and didn't know, and then she caught it from me or something. Even if I never found out, that would just suck to know. But I don't know. I can't wait for all this to be behind us. I can't. I'm so sick of talking about it. I'm sick of it, like hearing about it. I'm ready to move on from the pandemic thing. Like COVID,
Absolutely.
you've had your turn. You had your fun. Okay, we get it. We get it. Humans are kind of crappy things, and we needed a wake up call. We didn't get a wake up call. We're not looking at it that way. We're going to go right back to it. But leave us alone for another
Nice
100
try.
years.
Piss off.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, try again harder,
Yeah.
next time.
Right next
Actually
time.
make right. Yeah. So
Moving on. Did you hear about that crazy 2-car crash in South California?
two
The
car
one that was
the one
it was
yeah, with all the what was it, like 28 people?
it was a Ford Expedition with 27 people in it. I'm
That
still
had to
trying
have
to
been
figure out the logistics.
yeah, that had to have been a like immigration, like illegal immigration thing where they were trying to get as many people in or
That's
something.
that's a very good guess. Is over the last couple months, a lot of the border security and everything and regulations have been rolled back, so it's not as tight as it used to be. But you got 27 people packed in a car 10 miles north of the Mexican border that happened to on a 2-lane road that just happened to veer directly head on into a semi that's toting 2 trailers full of gravel.
That was the 2 questions I have about that is, one, how the heck did they fit that many people inside? It was a expedition, you said, or excursion? Expedition, right? Which is a big SUV. In fact, hold on, I think I downloaded a picture just because I thought we might come
At
across
most,
this.
with one of the certain packages, at most you can fit 9 people in it. That's
legally, safely with the seats or whatever. And granted, I've been in high school or college, and we fit a lot more people in a car than you really should. But you said 27? 27 people inside. Look at this expedition there.
Well, I mean, think about it. You got 9 seats, so you got 9 people, driver included.
That's 3 people.
You have another 9 sitting on everyone's laps. That's only 18. Yeah. You got to get another 9 in there.
You got, I mean, I know there were some, like, what was the youngest, like 15 or something like that, or 13. I can't remember, but there was some younger, so a little bit smaller.
Ranged 15 to 53.
Yeah, there you go. So you could fit a few more 15-year-olds than if they were full-grown adults. But like you were saying, you got 9 seats. Even if everybody had someone sitting on their lap, that's 18. You got another 9 still. You could fit maybe 6 if you really crammed them into the back, but probably not. Because if that 3rd row seating up, it's going to be a lot tighter. What I was getting
at. Yeah, you're going to have seat. There's not that much room back there.
It's going to be like people on seats, people sitting on top of people on seats, and then people laying across, like, how people used to do the planking thing, that stupid meme
Lincoln
thing.
Logs.
Yeah, like that. And there's going to be like stacked one on top of another. You'd almost think it'd be safer that way, because when you get to a crash, like, you're just not going to move because you're so jammed in there. When the
report initially came out, they said it was a bus because they saw it was 2 people, and because of how many it was, they thought it was a bus. No. I'm looking at the picture. I'm like, that's not a bus. That's an expedition.
Yeah, and not even a newer one either. It's an older one, which means even less spacious. But my other question, though, what happened with this semi truck? Where did this thing? I'm assuming that this expedition is way overloaded, and to anybody that's driven a car overloaded, especially when that is as old as that and probably in a little bit of disrepair, I'm sure, like the shocks and everything aren't up to standard. It's not going to stop nearly as fast. It's not going to turn right. It's just not going to perform at all safely. So it could be they didn't see it till last minute, tried to stop and just couldn't because it was way overloaded. I don't know, but I'd really like to know what the heck happened.
I'm guessing they fell asleep because it was at like 6:30 in the morning.
Okay.
And they just veered in front of the driver. Because it's only a 2-lane road. So they just shifted into his lane and they hit him head on.
Have you, okay, so it's not here. Let me send you this picture in Skype really quick. Wait, what the heck just happened? Oh no, hold on. Sorry. I ruined something that I had saved for later. You guys didn't see that. Okay, hold on. Let me send you this. Where is it? Crash. There it is. Send this to you in our high-tech video conferencing tool here. Let me know when it comes through. Yeah, so it wasn't like a head-on. This was like a T-bone, which is probably worse with that many people in there.
That's not what's described in any of the reports, though. That's what's just weird about it.
Yeah, that's just what I'm looking at there. But you can imagine with that many people crammed into that car, and you see how much less volume there is now from the side. Those poor people, man. That's to be in a situation to where you would cram into a car like that is bad enough because it's got to be hot. And then to have something like that happen, there's that's terrible. Yeah. So prayers go out to all their families for sure. It's an unfortunate situation, but I'd like to really know how that happens. Sad.
Well, I know Customs and Border Patrol, and they showed up to help the Highway Patrol and the Sheriff's Office there with everything. They found out 10 of them were Mexican nationals.
Okay.
So it hasn't been confirmed that they were trafficking people, but they were trafficking.
Like trafficking is in just like moving illegal immigrants in, smuggling them in, But not like sex trafficking or something like that. You mean more
Right.
just moving people in
Just
for a fee or
moving
whatever.
people. Yeah.
Which is a big thing. I know all over the place. I've seen all these documentaries, like the people that go from what is it, Morocco or whatever, into basically from Africa. They're coming into Spain and all Italy, trying to get in to Europe, and people charge ungodly amounts of money and then give them like the bare minimum to like try and get in, like put them on a boat that's just like made out of inner tubes essentially and try and send them across a huge stretch of water. And
there was a case here in Texas last week before, where one of them had a cell phone and called 911. There were 23, I think he said. They were inside a tanker, the little tanker trucks, but it was sealed off, and they were running out of air, and they were all suffocating, and they had no idea where they were. So they never found them.
Oh no! So they got the call, but they never found.
They got the call. They knew it was happening, so now they're looking for that kind of thing. But yeah,
that is horrible. That's like the type of like horror movie where the whole movie they're stuck inside there and they're on the phone with like 911 or whatever, and they're like bang on the truck or whatever, bang on it. I think we might be there, and like they can hear through the cell phone like the police what they're hearing, and they hear the bang and they're like, yeah, they're almost here, and then they open it up and it's just like the wrong truck, and like the trucker was just like banging the tires to see like what the pressure was, and that they just didn't find him, and that's how it ends. That's horrible. And it goes on all over the world too. I've heard other stories about like people from Asia or whatever being shipped in on shipping containers, and the people that are in charge of it just never let them out. They take the money and they just die because they're locked in this thing for months.
What pisses me off most about all of this with immigration, especially the United States immigration practice, and so much of it is politicized. So much of everything that's going on now is politicized rather than actually addressing an issue.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's not about the people. It's not about doing what's right. It's not about this. It's not about that. It's about, oh, well, if we do this, oh my God, the world's going to end. Oh my God, the world's going to end. Dude, just shut up. Shut up.
And it's all just like talking points too, for the most part, because
nothing
really changes with it. Like, because another example that comes from, again, my wife's family. She was born in Miami because her parents had, visas. They were coming over here trying to immigrate legally into the United States. They had, jobs. They were contributing to society, like just decent lower middle class, whatever, same type of situation that my parents are in. People. Nope. They didn't get picked. There's like a lottery system, and sorry, you just don't get to come in. So they moved back, and luckily my wife and her sister had American citizenship because they were born here, and when they turned 18, they left and came here. But come on, there's got to be an easier way to do things legally. You're going to complain about all the illegal immigrants coming in and taking jobs and not paying taxes, but there's not an easy way to do it legally either. So
exactly.
That's
all I was getting at. I don't agree with any of it. I wholeheartedly believe that if you're a politician right now, that you should just do America a favor and resign. That's just where I'm at.
That's a good idea.
I have no faith in. Well, it wasn't meant to be a profession.
Yeah, no,
it's supposed
wasn't.
to be a service to your country. It's not. You're not meant to be in office for 50 years.
You're not meant to benefit off of it financially and everything else like these. Another topic, so we're going to get canceled if we keep talking about that. Speaking of getting canceled, though, you heard about Dr. Seuss and his books. Well, 6 of them, and I'll be honest. So let me preface this with to anyone that doesn't know, 6 Dr. Seuss books will no longer be in print. They're canceling print. They're not going around trying to burn all the ones in existence, but they're not going to print any more of them.
451 here.
Right. And it's to be completely honest, they're all books that I don't think I've ever read by Dr. Seuss. We're not talking Fox and Socks or One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish, or
or
Green
Hop
Eggs
on
and
Top,
Ham, or
Cat in the
Cat
Hat.
in the Hat. Yeah, all the classics. It's not any of those. It's
Now,
if I ran to the zoo, Scrambled Egg Super, that's like Green Eggs and Ham prequel, maybe, I don't know. But because of racist caricatures in the book, I'll pull up a picture really quick because I loaded this one in advance. You can see here, everybody that's looking at where our logo normally is, you can see these. Uh, they're not Chinamen, even though they look like it. They are from Zomba apparently, according to Dr. Seuss, the good doctor, with helpers who all wear their eyes at a slant. So, I will say that I do understand why this happened. There's a lot to unpack there, and we don't really have time to go through all that. But
I'll
yeah,
say this. I
there's
do
been an
want to say
uproar
this,
about it.
and I was one of them.
Yeah.
I'll you're like when this story first came out 3-4 days ago. I started. I talked. I sent it to Chris, and we started talking. We had a nice little debate on it, and now it's just like I think most of it was the shock that it's like Jesus Christ. Now you're trying. Cancel culture's trying to take away Dr. Seuss. Really?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like once you can get over the initial shock of, oh, we can't have this because Dr. Seuss is a racist, blah blah blah. Once you actually get over that initial shock and you can go into it, like take the blinders off and go into it with a clear head, okay, I can agree with what you're talking about on these particular books.
Yeah, and that was kind of my initial take on it as well, because I obviously read a bunch of Dr. Seuss books growing up. One of my
We all did.
fondest memories was my very first girlfriend. I think her name was Jennifer as well, which is weird. That's my wife's name. But third grade, I remember we used to sit on this chair. It was like kind of like a lazy boy knot. It was like a cheap, knockoff or whatever. But in third grade, in the little like reading corner of the room, we would sit in that chair together and we would read Dr. Seuss books together. That was that baby, man. She was, and a girl that loves Dr. Seuss back then. Yeah, you got me, girl.
But what I remember from third grade, fourth grade, and fifth grade was every March 2nd, which was Dr. Seuss Day, because that was his
we didn't
birthday.
have Dr. Seuss.
Dude, I had teachers coming in, everybody, thing 1, thing 2. This one's dressed up as Cat in the Hat. Everybody got dressed up as character. They would encourage the kids to do that. And they spent the entire day reading a variety of Dr. Seuss books, and they'd have the kids read the books to other kids and to the teachers. I mean, it was a whole big reading event that we had every year.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this was in a town of like 400 people in Indiana,
right?
So I mean, it's just what we did. Cool.
Yeah, and my thing, what I was trying to say is that like my initial take on it was kind of like that, because I remember that first, my first love, that was my baby back then. Reading Dr. Seuss, I'm like, you're gonna take this away, like how? But that was also because the ones I was reading didn't really have stuff like this. I don't remember ever seeing this type of stuff in it, and the fact that it's kids' books and it's, let's be honest, this is racist caricatures. When you look at this, is obviously like the stereotypical Chinamen. They're wearing like the silk clothes, but they have the rice paddy like sandal things on, and like it's just stereotypes is what this is. So I get it for kids' books, because I could imagine being like a Korean kid or a Chinese kid or something like that, and seeing that and thinking that you're being made fun of, because nobody really looks like that. So I can kind of understand, and I understand how some of this stuff, like, even though you might not end up being racist later in life or having those thoughts, like just having that ingrained in your perception of other people's from a young age might not be the healthiest thing. So I can kind of understand where it's coming from. Like, I'm not going to argue too much against it. And the fact that they're not getting rid of all of his books, like, okay, I guess I can stand by that. You know, it's going to make the value of those go up big time.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. It probably already has.
Yeah. I would absolutely be looking for those if I cared, but I'm really bad at making investments like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Me too.
Is that your Star Wars collection? All your Star
Yes.
Wars books?
Doctor Who, Star Wars, Star Trek, video game strategy guide. Yeah, I got the strategy guide for Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 in there.
Damn, dude. That's what's up. I miss playing video games. I just don't have time to do it anymore. And it sucks because there's so many. I barely have enough time to keep up on some series that I'd like to watch. Speaking of which, I started watching Project Blue Book. I don't know if you've heard of that. I think it was a History Channel thing originally. It's on IMDb TV, like if you have a Fire TV or something like that. But it's about Project Blue Book was a real thing. It's about like the government trying to disprove UFO sightings back because there was the whole UFO hysteria that happened around the time of Roswell and thereafter, and with the Russians and the Cold War and atomic bombs, and it was just a scary time in history, really. So, but it's an interesting, and they take some creative license with it, obviously, but it's a good show. It's pretty interesting. Speaking of shows,
hold on. Speaking of which, did a couple segments on this 10 episodes ago, probably. But the Justice League Snyder cut, 2 weeks, my friend.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that because I know they did a lot of reshoots and stuff for it. And there was that one picture of Jared Leto as the Joker, and he had long hair. And I'm kind of interested to see where that's going, or if it's a flashback or what. Yeah, we'll see.
I just know that it's. I want to say that it's either the 13th or the 18th of this month, but it's 6 different chapters, and it's over 4 hours long. Is all I know.
So. Okay. Yeah.
And from what I understand, they're all getting cut at the same time.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. We'll talk about it once it comes out and see if any of what we talked about happens, or just if it's any better. If it was, it's going to be better. It's got to be better. That's all there is to it. How much better? I don't know, but yeah, we'll see. But so series that I did see recently, it was like a limited thing. It was called Behind Her Eyes, I think, and it was really interesting. I won't talk too much about it. It's like a British show, at least they have British accents and Scottish accents or whatever. But the basis of it touches on like astral projection, and I don't know if you know too much about that, like Donnie Darko type stuff. Basically, I don't know how legit it is. I've never really tried it, but basically, you're able to like leave like your subconscious like leaves your body, and you're able to travel like through time and space outside of your body. Kind of a cool thing. The series was good. They did some pretty cool things with it. It's kind of like a mystery thriller type thing. But after watching this, I just come across an article where scientists are studying communicating with people as they're sleeping, and not just sleeping, but lucid dreaming. And I thought this was really cool.
What is a lucid dreamer?
Okay, so when you dream, you know, like you usually don't know you're dreaming until you wake up, but every now and then you like realize you're dreaming in your dream. If that ever happened to you where you're like, wait, I'm dreaming.
Okay.
Most of the time you wake up like right away. That's just kind of how it is. Like I remember I had a dream where I was probably like 6 or something like that. And I had a dream that there were redcoats, like British Revolutionary soldiers in my living room, and they were reading my parents like the list of crimes that they'd committed against the British government, and that they were going to like hang them. And I realized that I was dreaming because this was just stupid. It made no sense. We have a TV, but yet redcoats are in my living room. But I couldn't wake up, and I was so terrified that I was going to die. But so what they're doing though is they are training people to lucid dream which is something I actually practiced with back when I was in college a little bit. Like there's certain supplements you can take like mugwort and vitamin B and stuff like that that help you fall into REM sleep. And then there's certain ways like dream journaling, whenever you have a dream, like writing down what you dreamt about so that you can focus more when you're dreaming and realize things that might be a dream. So you can kind of realize it as you're dreaming. But it's cool because once you do that, now all of a sudden you're in control. And if you can keep that going, you can pretty much do whatever you want. But what scientists are doing is communicating with people as they're lucid dreaming. So since they're aware that they're dreaming, now they can pay attention to any anything that comes from the outside. Like if the scientist like plays a certain song, a researcher plays a song or something like that, like they might hear something or their brain interprets the song in a different way, but they might realize what's going on. And they've developed a series of signals that they do with their eyes, like by moving their eyes in a certain direction, like a few times. Because when you in REM sleep, your eyes kind of like dart back and forth. So they do things like back and forth like this many times at like a constant rhythm for yes, and then this many times for no or whatever. But they've actually found evidence to support that you can actually communicate with somebody while they're dreaming, which I thought was pretty cool. You know, this. Go ahead.
Take some mugwort. It's a witch burn her.
She turned me into a newt. A newt.
It got better.
Yeah, like all better.
Sorry.
So
you said mugwort, and I phased out after that. Just started laughing to myself.
Yeah, I know. Every time I say mugwort, I think of a witch's brew. I won't lie. And it sounds kind of silly talking about it, but lucid dreaming is pretty cool. I only was able to do it a few times, and one of those times I was on a transcontinental flight or something like that while I was dreaming. And when I realized I was lucid dreaming, I got up, walked into the cockpit. The cockpit was empty all of a sudden. So I was like, okay, cool. And I started flying this plane. And people were screaming because I couldn't fly it very well. But I was flying this like 747. It was interesting. So we are running out of time, but there's one thing we still need to talk about. And I think you know exactly what that is.
I know exactly.
Because we talk about this a lot. Chaz?
SpaceX.
Yes, sir.
SN10.
So check this out, everybody. I'm going to play a GIF. You are not going to believe what happened this time. So here comes the SN10. Awesome. Here it comes.
You ready?
And look at that. Perfect landing. Just perfect landing. They stuck it. Elon, I mean, just killed it. They killed it. This is awesome. That's all there is to say. It's just awesome. Until 10 minutes later when this happened. So it landed, stuck the landing, and I think at this point I'm starting to think that he's got a self-destruct button that he presses just because he likes seeing it explode.
He likes seeing it go boom.
You notice as it was coming down, there was something was I don't think that's just fuel. I think it was on fire. Something was burning. So
I actually watched the coverage of this.
Yeah.
As it happened.
So what was it that happened? I've been working so much. I haven't had time.
That's why it sat there for 10 minutes and there was nobody around it and all that, because they had a methane leak. They were trying to get it all under control. And they're sitting there talking to you about it, trying to explain it, and all of a sudden you hear, "Oh my God!"
But
and then you hear this other guy in the background going, "Hey, there's your methane leak." Awesome.
Look at that explosion, though. Like how powerful that was. That jettisoned that thing. Yeah. I mean, that had to have been a good 80 to 100 feet it launched that thing in the air. Wow. But, with all these explosions and everything, you still have to hand it to him. Like, this is a completely new concept. This spaceship that's going to ferry people across, hopefully our solar system, at least to Mars or wherever. And within 10 of these prototypes, he has it going up, doing maneuvers, self-landing. This isn't just little rockets like what he started off with. This is like an actual shuttle that's self-landing.
Yeah.
That's cool.
The part that makes me nervous, okay, and I hate saying this about my boy Elon, but got 10 shots, right? gone up, come down, everything's fine. We're talking about taking this to the moon and then taking this to Mars. Well, the gravity's different on the moon and Mars.
Easier. Okay. That's why he's taking it to the moon, because you can fill it up on the moon, and there's a lot less, the escape velocity is a lot less, so you burn a lot less fuel getting going. At Mars, it's like what, 1/3 or something of Earth's gravity, I think, something like that.
I don't know.
Yeah, so it'll be easier.
I don't know. I'm just picturing that first Mars rover that just pummeled into the surface.
Yeah, I think that was more
$250 million whoopsie.
I think that was more things going wrong, because you got to think with the Mars rover, they don't even have control over it when it's like the Perseverance, what we were talking about, when that thing is, what we're seeing as it's going through the atmosphere and like the supersonic chute deploys and the heat shield drops and all that stuff happens. When we're watching that thing's already either crashed or safely landed. We're like
we're watching it live, but it's like 7 minutes.
Yeah,
behind.
Live as it gets to us because of the speed of light. But yeah, it's already done. So all that stuff has to happen just on its own. It's automatic. Just hopefully it works, So, but with this, you're going to have people to be able to compensate for things a little bit easier, I would guess. I don't know, but wait a second. Where's Parrish?